But joining us right now on the show, you want to talk about a guy that's generous with his time. No big deal. Just a couple days ago called one of the great sporting events of our lifetime as the United States in overtime beats Canada to win the gold medal, the United States men. And what is, I said it to him off air, it's like a legendary broadcast with Edzo and Kenny Albert and the whole crew on NBC doing an unbelievable job. Eddie Olczyk, back home in Chicago, beats the blizzard, joining us now here on You Better You Bet. My friend, you are the absolute best. Take us through what the last 48 hours in your life has been like, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, Nick, great to be with you. Thanks for having me. I guess I'll work my way from the very start of it. You said 48 hours. If I could do the math really quick here, we're preparing for, at this particular time, we're preparing, I think, for overtime and 1-1 game. And it was kind of surreal for me. I was lucky enough to be a part of the NBC broadcast back in 2010 in Vancouver for the men's hockey. Again, another overtime game, a game where Team USA scored late. Zach Parise scored the game tire, and of course the golden goal by Sidney Crosby in a 4-on-4 situation. And then here we are 16 years later in Milan, Italy, and Team USA holding on in the third period, and they find a way to, get the job done and get it to overtime, and then Jack Hughes becomes the hero. And then for, I think, the next probably 7 or 8 hours, it was a combination of answering the phone, text, packing, and reminiscing, getting ready for the flight home yesterday, which ended up taking about, with everything going on, probably about 25 hours to get from Milan back to Chicago, and then see my wife last night, see my pups at home, and now pack up and get ready to head to LA for the NHL restart up tomorrow on TNT. We got the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow night from LA, and then I will head to St. Louis for a game between Seattle and St. Louis on Thursday night, and then I get a couple of days off. So it's been a whirlwind. I wouldn't have it any other way, but the way it started off was pretty damn awesome, and there was a lot of reflecting, I think, by myself and having a very small part of the whole event there on the Golden Sunday, the golden medal for the men's game.
What was that reflection?
Well, I think for me, it took me back to being, 12, turning 13 years old and seeing the Miracle on Ice in 1980 and being an American-born player and trying to make my way higher in hockey. And that 1980 team opened up the door for an American-born player like myself. And then I got the chance. I wanted to, when I saw that happen to Miracle on Ice, Nick, I wanted to play for Team USA the next day. I wanted to get that opportunity to win a gold medal. And I thought maybe the Olympics in 1988 or 92 when I was older, when I was 22 or I was 26, I thought, wow, that would be incredible. But I got an invitation as a 16-year-old, and then I went to the tryouts in Colorado Springs, the Olympic Training Center and the World Broadmoor there at the Broadmoor Ice Arena in Colorado Springs. And I got an opportunity to try out as a 16-year-old. I made the team. I played in the Olympics as a 17-year-old. And, we had a lot of pressure on our team. And maybe I was too young, or maybe a lot of people think I'm still immature, but that's okay. I was probably too immature to realize the magnitude of what we were trying to duplicate. And we ended up finishing in 7th place. Last time I checked, Nick, I think there's over 260 countries in the world. So 7th place at the Winter Olympics is not bad out of 260 countries. Now, between all of us, 245 did not show up at the Olympics in 1984. So play along with me if you know what I mean. So I think it took me back to only one opportunity as an amateur. And then all these years later, with the best players available from the National Hockey League, not being able to get it done. And then to find, always wondering what it would be like, Nick, to see Team USA, the men's side. First off, congratulations to the women, to try to duplicate what the women have done a couple of times here in the last little while, but to see what it will look like and feel like as an alum. And it was everything and probably a little bit better. And I was not only bleeding red, white, and blue, but I was sweating red, white, and blue during that game, especially in the third period with the way that Connor Hellebuyck played and had a little luck on their side. There's no doubt about it, but you need a little luck every once in a while. And then Jack Hughes scores the golden goal, and here we are.
I think, Eddie, and I know you'll agree with this because I heard it in your guys' voices, right? So the game itself is emotional, and the win is emotional, and you absolutely love it. What happened after the win, I have seen a lot of people, I feel this way. Like, my wife felt this way. She's not a sports fan, but when you're watching the scenes, I actually have goosebumps and chills right now thinking about it. Yeah. And you see the scene on the ice, specifically, obviously, as it concerns the family of Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah.
And his children, his wife, and his family. Do you have like a specific moment that really, because it was exceptionally, not just because America won, but because of everything else that was going on around it. Was there a moment throughout all of that where you kind of said that to yourself, like, man, I can't even believe what's happening in front of me right now in a good way?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were a lot. Obviously, you know, the rallying around the loss of Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau, and obviously his brother Matthew, to have the family there, and you know, not only this year, but people again jumping into the Olympics, not knowing maybe how Team USA handled and remember Johnny Gaudreau during the Four Nations tournament, which was the appetizer for the Olympics in the National Hockey League, a 4-team tournament last February. Johnny's sweater was hanging in Team USA's locker. So it's been an inspiration talking to a lot of the guys, and you could just see the raw emotion. And I think the one thing that got me, it'll probably get me again, was, you know, it was Zach Werenski, a teammate of Johnny's in Columbus, and Matthew Tkachuk, who played with Johnny for, I think it was 5 or 6 years in Calgary. Don't quote me, but the understanding of the moment and not only being proud of one another, but proud to be an American and not forget what's really important, and that's to be able to share with whoever you can. And they felt at that particular time it was important to get Johnny's kids out there and bring them, and it was beautiful, considering everything that had happened in the game and the emotion after Jack Hughes scored. I mean, I love the celebration, and I was trying to look at the players, I was trying to look at the bench, I was trying to look in the stands as a broadcaster, because, you know, Kenny Albert had a great call. And as an analyst, and I've learned the hard way sometimes, is you're better off just to keep your mouth shut and just let it breathe. And then when you get the opportunity to talk, you talk. So I had the opportunity to be able to reflect and see, but I just kind of thought the selfness, the awareness, and the true, I mean, that's true love there, that in that moment that they would think about a, for sure, teammate. Johnny would have made the team without a doubt. A fallen teammate's family at that particular time, and wanting to make sure that they knew how they felt about Johnny and Matthew and the entire Gaudreau family. So I think it hit. I think they handled it I think they handled it perfectly. And proud alum, proud American to be able to have witnessed that in person.
It's the kind of thing that could bring a grown man to tears very easily. Johnny and Matt, like, the people that don't know the whole story, like, killed by a drunk driver while riding their bikes in New Jersey, like on the eve of their sister's wedding. This is the time I think about now that I'm a dad, where I don't know how, like, you move forward if something like that happens. And this is like real life stuff. What his family's been able to do and what those young men, older men did on is exceptional. You better bet on this Tuesday. The great Eddie Olczyk with us on the show. We need to talk about you on a lighter note. So I'm not saying this to blow smoke. It's rare that I think there's a consensus with anyone on the internet, but the consensus seems to be, and I certainly would add my voice to this chorus, you and Kenny Albert and the whole crew on NBC had not a great, a legendary broadcast of a legendary game on Sunday. And I am not far from the only person that's saying that. So you can be humble if you want and be like, yeah, it was good. It was exceptional and made a special event even more special. Was there a moment during the game where you thought to yourself, man, this game is awesome, but we are awesome. We are killing this right now. Take us through those thoughts on the broadcast.
Well, I mean, Nick, that's very kind, and coming from somebody like you, it means a lot. So thank you on behalf of our crew. For people that may not know, a lot of our production came from Stamford, Connecticut, which is a long way from Milan, Italy, if anybody doesn't realize that. So juggling the production balls from afar and then getting a world feed, which is sent out to every single country, and the replays that come, the first initial replays come, we're getting those blind, just to let everybody know. Now, we have the ability quickly to be able to get to the replays, in particular the Matt Boldy goal, which was absolutely phenomenal. But I kind of felt that, the heart of your question, I think I felt that is when we got to the replay of Connor Hellebuyck making one Hellebuck of a save against Devon Taves in the blue paint, with Canada having all the pressure on Team USA, and he gets the paddle of the stick. Because where we were positioned, we were a little bit farther away from center ice, so that was at the opposite end. And, people can envision, if you're not seeing me, is that it was to my left. So the angle that I had wasn't the greatest, but where Taves got the puck on his stick, I felt the only way is that Hellebuyck could have stopped it was with the paddle of the goalie's stick. So it's the thicker part below the shaft where he holds his stick, and then it gets big, like a paddle. And as the puck came away from the blue paint, Kenny made the call, and then it was like a question within the call. And then that's when I just blurted out, I think he got it with the paddle. And then we went to the replay, Nick, and just sometimes things come together. And after that, and the replay showed it clearly, and the net, I mean, it was, just so wide open, and somehow he reacts. I think I did feel tape was ready. The call was great. I gave my thought over the air, and sometimes, look, it's live television and live radio and live internet. You're going to be wrong sometimes, and you got to have, sometimes you got to have courage, and you got to put your plums on the table, and it's a reactionary call. So I think, to the heart of your question, I felt at that time, production, directing, tape room, announcers, showing the people, I thought, we're on it. And we got another 8 minutes to go here, or whatever the time was when he made that save, and then probably overtime. So it's a team effort. We got unbelievable people, and couldn't have been more proud to be a part of our NBC coverage of the gold medal game.
Did you and Kenny have a moment after the game where you say to each other something like, man, that was special? Did you and Kenny have a moment like that after the game?
Yeah, Bush came up. Ryan Boucher came up, who's got, as he said, I got the best seat might have the best seat in the world. I'm in between these two benches, and I got a chance to be a part of this game. I think when Bush came up after the medal ceremony, and we were killing the clock until Mike Tirico, which made it even bigger. When Mike Tirico shows up in a building, regardless of the sport or arena, it's a big, big game, and Mike did an amazing job hosting from Hockey One there in Milan. But I think after we usually we give the fist bumps, and I think we talk about our show a little bit, but I think we just embraced. I gave Bush a big hug, and then Bush gave Kenny a hug, and then I think that we all had a hug together because I think we really knew that we left it on the table, and because you don't want to get in the way of anything. And look, it's live television, and sometimes mistakes happen, and it's emotional. But I think that we felt extremely proud as Americans and proud to have been able to witness and call the game to the 30 plus million people that were watching it. And could you imagine if the game was later in the day, Nick? Could you imagine if it was on a Saturday night over in Milan and right in the middle of the day back home here? Could you imagine the numbers once people realize, casual sports fans or just a fan in general checks out, oh my gosh, they're in overtime? Could you imagine the numbers that could have been if the game was a little bit later? It's the way the schedule is. It was the last event of the Olympics. You had the closing ceremonies coming. There's a lot of debate on, overtime and all that kind of stuff, which is for, maybe another day or, maybe in a couple minutes. But I just think that we felt after the game, I think we felt like we got it. And Catherine Tappan had a couple of unbelievable interviews and stories throughout the game. So I feel proud to have been a part of our NBC team calling that men's game.
You've called, Eddie, over the course of your career, just like a lot of games, period. A lot of great games, a lot of huge games. Is that the biggest highlight of your career, what happened on Sunday with the United States beating Canada in the gold medal game?
I thought Vancouver, working with Doc Emmerich, Team USA down, less than a minute left to go, goaltender out. They tie it. Then Sid the Kid, gets the golden goal in Vancouver. Like, I thought that game was as good as anything that I've ever been a part of. Then I went for NBC to the Triple Crown when American Pharoah won the Triple Crown. And the first one we've had in a million years, and 125,000 people at Elmont, New York at Belmont Park, rising as one. Like, I thought that was the greatest sporting event I had ever been to outside of being a participant as far as a player. But I'd have to say, no pun intended, really, what happened on Sunday trumps all. And there's only one reason why. It's because the red, white, and blue won the game. And it was spectacular. They were on the ropes in the third period. I made the comment, I think, with 10, I thought I looked at the clock and I said it at, I think, 10:38 left to go. I thought it was, but I just said it in the third period. I'll leave it at that. I said, they being Team USA, they just want to get to overtime. Because Canada had them over a barrel. You had the Celebrini breakaway. You had the Devon Taves chance. You had the Nathan McKinnon wide open net that went off the side of the post and into the net. The game I think overall, the game, if both goaltenders were average, I think, Nick, I think that's a 5. That's what I thought the game would be. Full disclosure, I thought it would be a 5-3, 6-5 type of game. I really did. I thought it would be that. And you think about the chances in that game that both teams had, it could have easily been in that 4-3, 5-3 type of range. So for me, yes, I would say what I was lucky enough to be a part of with our crew at NBC. The greatest sporting event and broadcast that I've ever been a part of.
Congratulations, my man. It was exceptional. It was great. The whole thing. And obviously the fact that it would have been great either way, the broadcast. If Canada had won, it wouldn't have been as good. So the fact that the United States won, I think I obviously took it to another level. Eddie, we were going to do like second half of the NHL season. Maybe we'll do that another time. I really appreciate you. Congrats on a legend. And I'm not just saying this because you're here. I would say this if you're not here. A legendary run by you, Kenny, and the crew in Milan, calling the Olympics, the men's and the women's for NBC. Stay well, and we'll catch up with you down the line.
Okay, thanks. Keep up the great work. I look forward to chatting with you soon, okay?